Hi friends, my name is Erin and I work at the San Carlos Library. But today I'm at the park. Isn't it a beautiful day? Do you like going to the park too? If you do, I think you'll like the story I have for you today. It's called Lizard from the Park. It's about a boy who finds something very interesting at the park. What do you think? Does that look like a lizard or something else? Let's read and find out, shall we? But before we do, I want to let you know that I have a special visitor for you to meet at the end of the story. I think I hear him right now. He's trying to hatch out of his shell. He's very excited to meet you. What do you think? Shall we begin our story so we can meet our friend at the end? Let's do it. Before we get started though, I'm going to take off my glasses so I can see you better. All right, let's get started. Lizard from the Park by Mark Pett, read with permission from Simon and Schuster. Like most days, Leonard walked home by himself. On this particular spring afternoon, he took a shortcut through the park. When he got to the deepest, darkest part of the park, Leonard spotted something. It was an egg, and it was unlike any egg Leonard had seen before. Leonard put the egg in his backpack, zipped it up, and carried it home. He took it to his apartment, which was on the top floor of a very tall building. In his room, Leonard and the egg played together for the entire afternoon. He read stories to his egg. They played make-believe. And then he rolled the egg like a bowling ball. So silly. That night, Leonard held the egg close as he fell asleep. Oh, it's right next to him on the pillow. In the morning, Leonard noticed something. The egg began to jiggle and crack. Then a nose busted through the shell. Oh my goodness, it was a lizard! Leonard watched as the lizard busted through the rest of the shell. Then Leonard made a decision. He named the lizard Buster. What do you think? Is that a good name? Leonard couldn't wait to show his new friend the world outside. He and Buster spent the whole day exploring Leonard's favorite places in the city. I think they're going to the museum first. I like museums, do you? In the weeks following, Leonard took Buster everywhere. They spent their mornings together, their afternoons together, and they spent their in-betweens together too. Aw, he's cradling himself in the statue of a lion. How cozy is that? As spring turned to summer, Leonard realized something. Not only did Buster keep growing and growing and growing, oh my goodness, he's so big, but he seemed to be enjoying himself less and less. Do you think he's lonely? Meanwhile, the bigger Buster got, the more Leonard had to disguise him so he would fit in among the city crowds. Do you see Buster there? What about there? And it's pretty easy to spot Buster here, isn't it? It soon became impossible to hide Buster. He's getting so big. So Leonard decided to keep Buster in his room. Buster didn't seem to like that either. I think he's definitely lonely now, don't you? After a while, Buster grew too big, even for Leonard's room. He he's taking up the whole space. Leonard moved him to the roof, though he knew it was only a matter of time before Buster would outgrow that too. Leonard found himself in a very difficult situation. Finally, he had an idea. He gathered every balloon he could find in the city, red ones, shiny ones, and balloons shaped like animals. What do you think he's gonna do? He filled his entire room. That's a lot of balloons. On the day of the big parade, noisy crowds gathered in the streets below. Leonard heard music. Then he saw the giant balloons. Soon the parade reached his building. Leonard and Buster joined in. Would you look at that? Leonard attached all the balloons to Buster so they would float in the air. Oh my goodness! They blend right in. There's Buster and Leonard. When they reached the park, Leonard and Buster floated away from the parade and sat down gently near the deepest, darkest part of the park, where Buster joined his family. Well, would you look at that? Was Buster a lizard after all? I had a feeling you guessed it. What's Buster? Buster's a Tyrannosaurus Rex. That's right. And there are his dinosaur friends. But what do you think is going to happen to Leonard? Do you think Leonard's going to be lonely now? Sometimes Leonard still cuts through the park on his way home. And sometimes he takes a new way. Look at that. Leonard found a friend at the park after all. And it looks like his friend likes dinosaurs too. They're playing together. Story? That was called Lizard from the Park. But before I say goodbye to you all, I know that I promised you a special visitor. Let's see if he's ready to hatch. Here he is. What do you think is inside? Do you think it's a chicken? Or a lizard? Or something else? Let's see. Crack, 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 crack. There he is. Oh my goodness, it's a mini Tyrannosaurus Rex. He looks just like Buster, don't you think? Can you wave to the kiddos, Buster? Aww, can you wave back at him? Good job. Well, thanks for joining us today for our story. I'm so glad you were here, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye, everyone.